Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and let's get right to it. I'm retiring from making Magic Arena videos. I'm retiring from making standard videos. I'm retiring from all of it. All the content that you are interested in and have watched on this channel. I'm just letting it all go someday. Not this day, but someday. And I'll get into exactly why I talk about that, why I bring that up, because a lot of what that day will be will rely on you and how you interact with this channel and what you're looking for in this channel. So I'm going to get into all of it. This is a bit of a one-man podcast. This is a bit of a state of the channel, and this is a bit of like what's going on with my head and what I see happening with this channel in the future, which is not easy to talk about, to be honest. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it a little bit. First of all, this video, just kind of the state of the channel, checking in with you guys, is something that what I call my predecessors, my peers of the past, the people I looked up to, Merchant, Mogwai, would do, but I have not done in a very long time, and it's because there is always a voice in my head, no matter what happens, no matter how well this channel does, no matter how many MagicCons I go to and how many fans I meet who are excited to meet me, there's a voice in my head that says, you guys don't really care what's going on with me. You want the content. And that is why every video I try, and some people will not believe this, but it's true, I try to make it about the deck, about the game, about all those things. People have always accused me of having a big ego and things of that nature. I try very much to play into an entertaining character for you, but I think that you'll agree that if you watch most of my videos, you might hear me complain about mono red a lot, but you don't hear a lot of my problems, a lot of my challenges. So this video is, I guess, an attempt to address that. And if you honestly don't care about my issues, if the main reason that you're watching this video is because the title may have sounded threatening to something you use for entertainment on a daily basis, that's okay too. But you have to understand at a level, they go together. At some level, these things come together. You may not care about all my issues, but you're going to hear about them a little because they may endanger the content that you watch on a daily basis, because I am in fact human. I cannot fully separate the things. I try, and we'll get into that. The business of the YouTuber, I think I do a decent job compared to my peers at bringing a business mindset to what I do. But eventually, they collide. So let's get into it. What can you expect from the channel this year? And how does it all lead to my eventual retirement? Well, here's the thing. We're going to get into what kind of content I'm going to be making and where I'm going to be making that content today. First of all, let's get right to the heart of why a lot of you guys watch this. Standard. For years growing up. We're going to frame everything in this particular discussion. We're going to frame everything. You've got to really understand it. You've got to understand that I've been making the same type of video almost every day for 6 years. What have you done almost every day for 6 years? Maybe eat breakfast, maybe poop. I'm not sure what else. But for the most part, when you think of doing something that often, that consistently, I mean, is there any show that you've watched every day for 6 years? Like maybe mine, if you're an absolute lunatic. I doubt it. I doubt you've watched me every day for 6 years. I'm just saying, it gets exhausting. You know, eventually everything becomes a little bit of not a chore, but not an exercise of joy, if that makes sense. Becomes very much a routine. And if there's something I fought against, I don't want to make this fully routine. Routines aren't as entertaining, so it's a problem. So remember, everything we're going to talk about, try to frame it from if you had done this for 6 years. How would you feel about it? Standard on Arena. Standard. When I started this channel, And when I got into Arena, Standard was always my favorite format by far. It was the biggest format in Magic for a very long time. The format that everybody pointed to, the format we all agreed on was pretty epic and amazing. And in the time that I've been making content, I've seen Standard go from this amazing thing that I love to an absolute afterthought. And it's been really sad to watch that coming from Wizards of the Coast. And now this is the year that they're trying to revitalize Standard, that they're trying to save Standard. And that means that there are Standard Pro Tours, there are Standard qualifiers for those Pro Tours. They are trying to bring back a healthy, competitive Standard ecosystem. And a big part of that for Wizards was getting people to buy $80 Shieldreds and $40 Gix and all these other cards that are extremely powerful mythics without fear that they would rotate. And that's why Wizards canceled rotation last year and turned Standard into a 3-year rotation instead of a 2-year rotation. And I've never gotten I don't know if I'll ever be used to it. I don't know if I will ever be okay with it. It's so stale. It's so hard to play on Arena, which is a much more fast-paced environment where people play so many games. It is so hard to play on Arena with no rotation last year. I think you've heard me complain about that, but it hasn't gotten better. Like it's still like this dark spot on my heart for the thing that I love, like a bruise that won't heal, because I remember how great Standard was when it rotated, and now I look at Standard that doesn't rotate, and it seeps into everything, my hype for new sets and things of that nature. It doesn't seem to seep into your appetite for content. Standard still by far does the best on the channel and continues to, and that is also part of the drain on me, because Standard went from being something that I loved to being something that was actually at many points during the last year painful to make content for. And yet that was what the appetite on the channel remained. I remained the Standard guy. It's very challenging, very, very tough thing to kind of process, because if I play what I love, number go down. And if I play what I don't love, number go up, but I don't love it. So balancing that is difficult, especially when you add to it 6 years of experience and you look out at the future. For example, this year there will be a rotation. Will that make it better? Maybe. But it's hard for me to process it, because did you know that Shieldred the Apocalypse does not rotate this year? It's going to be legal for at least another year. It's going to be legal into 2025. 2025. It's not even that Shieldred is the big problem with the format. It's just an example of a card that is so ubiquitous in the format that the idea of it just kind of being there, taking up spots in decks, it's so frustrating. Monastery Swiftspear, same thing. Mono red, probably going to be one of every 5 games I play every day for as long as this channel exists. And you can see how that gets into your head a little bit. Like, what are we doing here? Now, that's kind of the negative side. On the positive side, Wizards is going to be trying to revitalize Standard. There's going to be a Standard Pro Tour. There's going to be cool Standard things happening in that ecosystem that were basically slowly taken away for the last several years. Will that revitalize Standard? Will that make people more excited about it? Will there be more pros like constantly injecting technology into the system? I used to be a player who always tried to break Standard. Now it's in a lot of ways too demoralizing to try to come up with a new deck just to watch it lose to the same decks that have existed for 2 years. And that's definitely one of the mental hurdles I face. And something that helps me a lot is when really amazing pro players inject something new into the system, and we try those decks and it's like, oh my gosh, that is really cool. So we'll see if that happens. Obviously, I'm cynical because I'm hurt. I'm hurt from that Standard cancellation last year. I'm not over it. I don't know if I ever will be. To those of you who say just play best of 3 or just play another format, it's not that simple. This is very much my thing. And when your thing gets changed, it's not as simple as just do something else. It's hard. It's a process. It's got its own mental barriers. So that has a lot to do with where we're at. That standard will never be what it used to be with the 2-year rotation. And that really, that takes a chunk out of me. It really does. So will I be continuing to make standard content on this channel? Yes, I'm sure that I will. I expect to with the new set coming out in just a few days, Murders at Karlov Manor. I don't know if I can do it every day. 365 days a year is a lot of standard, and I just came off a month of Historic Brawl. Historic Brawl is a good format. It has its issues as well, but it's nice to have something else I can do. However, I think at the core, there a few things come to mind. Like, in a few ways, I don't want the thing I do after doing this for 6 years and trying to keep it fresh for myself. I don't want the thing I do to not play standard to be play another game mode of Arena. I've played so much Arena, you guys. And there are days when all I wish for is that I didn't have to play Arena today. And so on that note, I'm looking into trying to create other types of content that I'll probably release on this channel, because those are the things that can help keep being a creator fresh. Because while the game of Magic can't always be fresh, maybe being a creator for you can be. Maybe being your content creator can remain an exciting endeavor if I can branch out and find some things that you guys would enjoy. Some content that appeals to different audiences, some different types of content like doing tier lists, collabs, or retrospectives, look like maybe video that looks back on the best cards in Arena history, worst cards in Arena history, most overhyped cards in Arena history, things of that nature. Also, content that tries to appeal to a new audience. Let's be honest. Most of my viewers, 97%, are returning viewers. 3% are new to any given video. The average age of my viewer is over 30. That is boomer for a gaming YouTuber. And you know what? I love you guys, but I'll put this on me. I'm not doing all I can to try to get more people into Magic. And shorter videos, different approaches to deck techs, and maybe rebranding, repurposed older content to appeal to an audience that isn't looking for 50 minutes of gameplay and needs something more like an 8 to 12-minute onboarding video, is a way that the channel can potentially grow. I don't expect those to get a ton of views from the regulars like you guys, but it does give me something to try to work on as we try to keep the channel going, because as I alluded to in the beginning of this video, the date I retire is going to rely a lot on when this is no longer fun. So I'm in a battle with my own psyche, with the game of Magic itself, and with the very experience of being a YouTuber, as to hanging on to what is fun. That's gonna be a challenge, without question. YouTube is definitely designed to try to take creators and make them into a certain box. I am in the daily MTG Arena gameplay box, and specifically the little box inside the box is standard best of one. Now, that I picked that on purpose. One, I enjoyed it. That mattered a lot. But two, it's the largest most played game mode on Arena, and that has boded well for me over the years. That the channel has grown tremendously because I'm playing standard best of one every day. But life in that box has become very difficult as the format has changed, and now, well, it has changed to not change. The format has been altered in such a way that change feels like it just comes so rarely to the meta, to the format, that it may as well be doing the same thing every day, which is both maddening and at some point is probably not entertaining. Quite frankly, I already get a lot of comments like, not another one of, like, why are you playing this deck again? And it's like, well, I haven't played that deck in over a month. It's my favorite deck, but people are bored of it. Yeah, because it works in this meta where the same things are always popular. It's just kind of a catch-22. I could try something new. Won't beat mono red. The decks that beat mono red have been pretty much found. It won't run that gauntlet of like mono red and blue white control very well. So like, what's the point? Like, why is that useful? And the answer is probably to try to find other ways to be entertaining besides playing the game, to sidestep that particular trap altogether. Now, if I can make entertaining content that doesn't just play the game and you guys like it, then we're cooking. We've got something. If I make entertaining content that you guys don't find entertaining, we have nothing. So it's probably going to take a little work on my part to get it right. But you guys play a big part too. So the way that the YouTube algorithm is going to treat me is when I release a video that's different from other things, a good amount of people won't click the thumbnail. When people who normally click the thumbnail don't click the thumbnail, the YouTube algorithm is going to bury it. So it's going to be very important for those of you who give the channel a chance and actually like the content to like the video. I've tried. I've dangled hot tub streams in your face recently to get likes on videos. It's much harder than I expected. I never asked for likes very much. And now I see I've completely neglected that, because it's your best chance of breaking out of the mold. Because if people like the video and watch the whole video, the algorithm picks up that, oh, okay, maybe it's different and people didn't click on it right away, but the people who are watching it are really liking it. And then the algorithm gives you like a second life. That's going to be really important to see if these videos actually do any good. Of course, don't like anything that isn't good. If you think I'm not making entertaining content, you don't have to like it, but it goes a long way. I'm telling you, a long way to like the video. You can like this one right now. You can practice if you're still watching this rambling one-man podcast monologue. I promise I plan to make the other videos more edited than this, but this is more of a discussion with the longtime members of the channel. This is not content designed to get new viewers or to appeal to a different type of viewer. This is very much you and me. We've been through the war, you know, we've done this together, maybe like for 5 years in some cases, 3 years in a lot of cases. And this is what's gonna, I'm leveling with you guys. This is kind of where we're at. This is what has to happen going forward. Let's talk a little bit more about the rest of the year, what kind of content I'm going to make and where you're going to find it, because that's very important. Sponsored content. Woo! I've never been one to take a lot of money to make sponsored content to play Raid Shadow Legends. You know, you haven't found a Raid Shadow Legends video on this channel yet. And I think that that's going to continue to hold. That, at least that's my expectation. I don't want to make a lot of like playing a video game for money necessarily. I like Magic, and I only want to expose you guys to the best that I can do with Magic and with the game. So things of that nature I don't expect those things to change. Instead, it'll be like, where can you find me playing Magic and doing fun things like that? So streaming, let's talk about streaming. The Cool Kids Club, the memberships here on YouTube. I'm doing members only streams, and I'm going to keep trying it for when I record my videos. So you can see the recordings happening in real time if you want to see all the content, the wins, the losses, the salty rage offs and things like that, and just have a look at how I put together my videos from the content I recorded. Being a member will give you access to those live streams. There will also be public live streams a few times a week, probably twice a week, and those will be broadcast to both Twitch and YouTube. I'm planning on streaming to both platforms. Twitch has a lot of weird issues going on. They're changing things with the Prime membership, that you get a certain set rate for Prime depending which country the Prime sub comes from, which is expected to be a cut to most people. If the Prime subscription thing gets cut too much or goes away, there isn't a lot of sense, honestly, in broadcasting to Twitch. If you are a viewer in the Twitch Magic space, this is not designed as a dig against you. These are just the facts, looking at it from a content creator standpoint. That space, that Twitch space for Magic the Gathering, continues to shrink every year. It's made up of very devoted, loyal fans, but they're not growing, and it continues to drop off little by little. And the perk of broadcasting to Twitch seems to continue to go down. You know, year after year, I've watched it go down. Now it seems to be on a month after month type of decaying timeline. You know what I mean? So I don't know how long I'm going to keep broadcasting to Twitch. If they change the Prime thing, it might not be worth it at all. While on YouTube, things are going very well. They've introduced a lot of new features and things like that. And the Cool Kids Club membership streams just for members, those are pretty cool. Also, just the public streams are very, very fun as well. And yeah, there'll probably be a lot more streaming to YouTube. I will be double streaming, streaming to both platforms, but the Twitch is the one that's the most in danger, to be honest. If you are a supporter of this channel, Patreon, Twitch subscription, or YouTube membership, what should you do in 2024? I would say YouTube membership. I'm not doing a lot with the Patreon. It still is a way to get some signed tokens, but for the most part, I've never been a very successful Patreon creator. It doesn't really mesh with me. And on YouTube, we've got that cool benefit where you get to watch my videos 24 hours early. If you're a member, I think that that is a great benefit for those of you who like to play my decks before everybody sees it and then it's all over ladder. So yeah, I would say do a YouTube membership. See if you like it. See if that gives you the value you're looking for. And those also go a long way to ensuring that I continue to make some kind of content. I would imagine even if I were to retire from daily MTG content, I would probably still do some live streams or something fun, because I might retire from making content for a living. I won't retire from being a gamer. And those are the kind of things I'd share with the members. Like I do a members only stream learning things like Hearthstone and stuff like that. If you want to watch me play other games, try out Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3, like those are probably things that would only be for members, because I don't want to deal with the public audience being like, this isn't Magic, we hate it. And it just makes me, it takes the joy out of it. So anyway, that is an idea of what we're doing with streaming. Other channels, CovertGo Crew. I really love CovertGo Crew. The big shift in Magic has very much been from this is what Standard is, to like Standard being the tentpole of Magic the Gathering, to Commander being the tentpole of Magic the Gathering. And some people are bitter with Commander about that, and I get it. It's a very different experience. But since I started playing it, I've really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite things about being a Commander player, all the cards are for you, as opposed to like the 5 to 10 cards a set that are for Standard, and maybe the 2 or 3 that are for like Modern and Pioneer. When you are a Commander player and you're a Commander player willing to try a lot of different decks, every set has a lot of cards that are for you. That is the really fun part about it. So I really enjoy CovertGo Crew. I really enjoy the crew, the guys, the friends, and they seem to be into it for another year. So that channel is going to probably continue quite a bit. If you've ever considered getting into Commander, or you just didn't know I had a Commander channel, check out CovertGo Crew, the worst possible Commander show. It's fun. I don't think that that will change anytime soon. And honestly, one thing that keeps going through my head is if I weren't making daily MTG Arena Standard videos, I could focus more on my Commander stuff, because Commander decks are hard to make. They take a lot of time and a lot of concentration. And getting a balanced, like really interactive Commander show, it takes a lot more work from a deck building standpoint than I ever realized. That audience is vicious. They're hard to please. They have complaints about everything from the usual, how long it takes me to take my turns, to the deck balance level, to they're mad because I have one of the players has a $400 card in their deck and the others don't, and misplays. Any game rules violation of any kind makes you a cheater, and it's a whole thing. And that is a very, very hard audience to please, but we continue to try because I really love the format. I really do. If you haven't tried Commander content, or you tried the content a while ago and it wasn't for you, consider giving it another shot. I'm really proud of the show. I love the things that we do with it. I'll also do collabs for Commander on other channels. At least it's one of my favorite things to do, is getting to star in other people's Commander games. So I hope I get to do more of that this year. And I'll, of course, let you guys know when that happens. All right. We're coming towards the end, and I'm going to get into what I said about the retirement thing, because this hopefully bring it home and bring it together. I will definitely retire someday. I always prepare for everything with the end in mind. And when this became my career, my job, my thing that I do, I knew that it wouldn't last forever. So let's talk about these two roads that I see the channel going down, because this is a big year for it. Like, this year is really going to determine what road we take. So road number one is that I find content that I enjoy making, that this audience enjoys, that I can post on this channel, that will continue to, you know, make me excited as a creator, while also entertaining you. If we find that happy medium, then this channel and the idea of me retiring from it and not like gets pushed off. You know, we definitely can go several more years. I got 6 years on, I'm going to play Magic every day, right? So on that note, if I find a way to keep doing things that's really fun and exciting and creatively fulfilling, I'm sure that we can get to, you know, 10 years of CovertGoBlue. I'm sure that we can have another great stretch on the channel. I am not convinced that gameplay alone will do that for me. So I think we're going to have to try things. We have to try things that aren't strictly gameplay. Now, that doesn't mean that standard gameplay is going away forever. I actually expect it to still be a majority of the videos on the channel, 4 to 5 videos a week, probably, of gameplay in some way. And then I'm gonna try to start small, 1 or 2 videos a week. That is me trying something different from what I've been doing. It will probably still be Magic the Gathering related. It's going to try to appeal to this audience. I want to stress that. I am not trying to bail this audience and be like, check me out playing Fortnite, guys. All right. I have an awareness of what you guys enjoy because of our relationship, and I'm going to try to give you things that I believe truly that you will like, and I'm going to try to be good at it because I'm going to have to get better at it myself. That's part of the excitement, is having a challenge, something that I can work on and do. So getting different types of editors, releasing different types of videos that hopefully you like, and if you do, remember to like the video. It's going to matter a lot. So 1 or 2 videos a week will not be what you're used to. 1 or 2 videos a week will be different. So if you like it, make sure you like it. And if you don't, leave me a comment and try to be constructive and talk about why. Try not just to be no standard question mark sad face. Those just leave me feeling hollow, empty, and useless. Thank you. But try to be like, I'm looking for something a little bit more like this or that. And no, I'm not talking about unboxings. I've definitely spent a good amount of time collecting Magic cards, but I haven't found any content that I enjoy showing people card collections. So I just post that stuff on Instagram. If you want to follow me there and see all my foily cards, follow me on Instagram. But here on this channel, it's probably going to be Arena Magic gameplay format related in some way. We'll get into it. We'll find out, but it'll be a different style of video than you're used to, at least a few times a week, while we look for something that works. All right. And if we find it and it's exciting, then channel continue. Long time. Long time. That is one possibility. The other possibility is I go make content I really actually enjoy elsewhere. And this channel kind of hangs out as a job, a J-O-B, exactly what you didn't want when you started your own gaming content company. Yeah, if I'm making the content I actually love on CovertGoCrew or in collabs or on live streams elsewhere, and this channel is strictly, okay, I'll make a standard video every day. That's what you guys get. That's what works here. I'll be doing it for the money. And that only lasts so long. And to give you an idea of where we're at, I mean, because it plays into this is only small flex. Okay, it's a bit of a flex, but it's also to give you an idea of where we're at. Last year, I actually went over the $1 million in revenue earned on this channel. Over $1 million of YouTube revenue from making content from Magic the Gathering Arena, from basically doing a standard video every day. The reason it's important is that I only need so much money before I go do something else. Because as long as I'm only making the content for the money, eventually, I'm not going to need that much money anymore. And we're getting there. I made way more from this than I ever expected to make. But we're getting to a point where at some point I'll be like, well, I don't need to make that much money anymore. And then then this channel is basically what I said in the intro. Then I'm retired. Then I'll be like, all right, that's enough. And then there isn't content here, or at least not the content that you're used to. So, will I retire this year? Could it happen this year? It's unlikely to happen this year. Probably not this year. But definitely looking into 2025, 2026, I could see it. I'm being honest. If I'm literally making a standard video every day in the same format that I made for the last several years, and I'm just doing it clock in, clock out style, and I'm having more fun doing things on other channels and other places, then yeah, there could be a day where this channel goes quiet because I've done what I need to do and nothing else worked on it. At least nothing else I could figure out. So now you know, to an extent, why some things are going to be the way they are this year, why we're going to try different things for this channel. And hopefully some of them stick and are fun. And hopefully the joy of Magic the Gathering shines through, because I still love the game in a number of ways. I just don't necessarily love standard on Arena as an everyday thing anymore. And we'll see if it changes. It's not like standard is a terrible format right now. It's just there's only so much I can do with it, and it doesn't change enough for my taste. So that's where we're at. I will retire. It will either be later if we find, it could be several years in the future, like 3, 4, 5 years in the future, if we find something cool that we enjoy doing on the channel, or I could see it next year. I really could. I could see 2025 being my last year in the game if the only thing working for this channel is here's a standard video. Because, yeah, thank you. This video wouldn't be complete without a thank you to the audience for getting me this far. If I get to the point where I can't go any further, it will just be because I couldn't fit the formula of what you wanted anymore. And I would rather go out. I would rather call the jam. I would rather be done than keep making passionless content for years and years at a time and miss some of the potential best years of my life doing something that I loved. But thank you for the opportunity to do that. It wouldn't exist if you guys didn't get me here. Kind of blows my mind, to be honest. Maybe someday I'll make a video. Maybe that can be one of these different videos about the whole journey and how I basically went from 27 years old, working at the mall, living paycheck to paycheck, to running a multi-million-dollar company valued at one point over $20 million, to absolutely broke again, to content creator for Magic the Gathering, who made $1 million in YouTube revenue. Like my life journey's been insane, and I owe you guys a lot, and I will provide as long as I can. Now you have an idea of sort of where my head's at and where the limits are. So let's see what we can do with 2024. Let's play. Let's have some fun. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.